Hello, LexiWibers. Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We are thrilled to have you back with the tribe today.
It is good to be back. And today we are walking into a story that you likely think you know backwards and forwards.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm here to tell you that the map you have in your head, it's completely wrong.
I love days like this. Because, look, we all have that mental image. You say the word Aladdin, and boom, my brain just immediately goes to the animated movie.
Of course.
I see the street rat with the heart of gold, the cute monkey, the blue, comedic genie doing all the impressions, the magic carpet ride. It's a staple of our childhoods. It's comfort food.
But that version, that Disney-fied, sanitized musical version, it is, to put it bluntly, a lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
Or just a different telling.
I'd say it's more than that. It's a very shiny, very misleading mask that's covering a much darker, much older face.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are not talking about the lunchbox version today. We're cracking open the original text, specifically looking at the translation history and what we call the LexiWibe vision of this tale. And from what I've read in the prep for this isn't a romance, and it definitely isn't a comedy.
No, not at all. The real story is a cautionary tale. It is a story about ancient entrapment, psychological horror, and the terrifying price of a single wish.
So, okay, consider this our mission statement for this deep dive. We are moving from the diamond in the rough myth to the reality of an eldritch horror story. We're going to find the dark origins.
And trust me, once you see the origins, once you understand the actual nature of the genie and the specific trauma Aladdin goes through, you can never really look at that lamp the same way again.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's unpack this. The first thing we need to do, I think, is just completely shatter the setting.
A foundation, yeah.
Because when I say Aladdin, everyone listening immediately thinks of the Middle East. You think of Agrabah, the desert sands, the camels.
Which doesn't exist, by the way. Agrabah is a complete fiction, a Disney invention.
Right, but the cultural coding, it's usually read as Arab or Persian. But here is the first massive shocker from the original text. The story of Aladdin is not set in Arabia.
Nope.
It is set in China.
China. That always throws people off. But if you go to the Antoine Galland text, he's the French scholar who first introduced this story to the West in the early 1700s. The opening lines explicitly place the narrative in one of the cities of China.
Okay, but does it actually feel like China? Because when I was reading the descriptions, they're still talking about sultans and viziers and dirhams for currency. It doesn't sound like the Ming Dynasty.
You have hit on a really important point about historical context. It's a fantastic question. For the original Arab storytellers and later for the European translators, China wasn't necessarily a geographically accurate location.
So it's a concept.
It was shorthand for the utter East. It was the farthest place imaginable. It added this layer of exoticism and distance. It's almost like setting a story on Mars today.
Oh.
It tells the listener, we are going to the edge of the known world, where the rules of reality might be a little different.
So it's less about historical accuracy and more about the vibe of the other, the far, far away.
Exactly.
But it does change the flavor, doesn't it?
Right.
It feels more vast. But let's talk about our hero, or maybe hero is the wrong word.
Anti-hero is being generous.
That's
The word
right.
protagonist is safer. Much safer.
Okay, let's look at this guy. In the movies, Aladdin is a lovable rogue. He steals bread, sure, but he gives it to starving children. He's charming. He has this heart of gold deep down. But the original Aladdin, he's a piece of work.
He is a disaster. The text describes him as ne'er-do-well. He is reckless, he's lazy, and he is completely, utterly irresponsible.
This isn't just a kid down on his luck because of, systemic poverty.
Not at all. This is the kid who refuses to learn a trade. His father, a tailor, tries to teach him the family business, and Aladdin literally runs away to go play in the streets with other delinquents.
And here is where it gets really interesting and dark. This isn't just boys will be boys mischief. His behavior is so bad, so shameful, that the text says it actually caused his father's death.
Yes, that is right there in the text. His father, Mustafa the tailor, died of grief, of heartbreak, because his son was such a profound disappointment and refused to take on any responsibility.
That is heavy. That's a whole different level of character flaw.
It is tragic, and even after his father dies, Aladdin doesn't step up. He continues to be this aimless youth, letting his poor mother spin cotton day and night to support them both while he just shirks everything. He's a parasite.
So to be clear, we have a protagonist who essentially killed his dad with stress and laziness. That is a heavy starting point. Why build a hero like that?
Because a boy like that Aimless, morally loose, always looking for the easy way out, totally estranged from discipline. He is the perfect target for manipulation.
He's waiting for a shortcut.
He's practically begging for one.
Yeah.
And that's when the antagonist arrives.
Enter the sorcerer. Now, in the popular versions, we know him as Jafar, the Grand Vizier.
Right, but in the original, he has no connection to the court. He is simply known as the Maghrabi sorcerer. A Maghrabi is someone from the Maghreb, so North Africa.
Wait, hold on. Africa? That's, from a logistical standpoint, that's a nightmare for the 18th century or earlier. Why go that far for some random kid in China?
That is the point. It shows the sheer scale of his obsession. In a time before planes or trains, traveling from North Africa to one of the cities of China is a monumental undertaking.
It's a life's journey.
It would take months, maybe years. It implies that this sorcerer has been planning this move for a lifetime. He has a singular target, identified through his magic, Aladdin.
And the way he approaches Aladdin, it's a classic con, isn't it? It feels very modern in a creepy way.
It is the long con. He doesn't just grab the boy and drag him to a dungeon. No. He approaches him on the street, this strange man, and claims to be the long-lost brother of Aladdin's dead father.
The uncle trick. Hey, kid, I'm your uncle from out of town.
Exactly. He plays on the family's grief and their poverty. He kisses the ground where the father supposedly walked. He cries fake tears. And most importantly, he showers Aladdin and his mother with gifts.
He buys their trust.
He buys them new clothes, gives them gold, takes them to dinner. He literally buys their trust with affection and capital.
It's grooming. That's exactly what it is. He's buying access.
It absolutely is. He isolates the target by becoming their savior. He promises to set Aladdin up as a merchant to make him a man of status, but you have to ask the question, why?
Right.
Why does a powerful sorcerer who can clearly generate wealth, or at least has plenty of it, need a lazy, good-for-nothing boy?
If you have magic, why do you need Aladdin? Why not just go get the treasure yourself?
Because of the rules of the magic. This isn't just about gold. The sorcerer is after world-altering power. But there are safeguards. The treasure is protected by a specific enchantment. The sorcerer has used his geomancy, his divination, to learn that he cannot enter the location where this power is hidden. He needs a specific person, a specific key, to retrieve it for him.
And Aladdin is that key.
Aladdin is the pawn. He is disposable equipment.
The sorcerer is the master of deception. Aladdin is the tool. And that brings us to the location, the Cave of Wonders.
Or, as we should probably call it, the trap.
Let's shift gears here a bit, because the atmosphere in the story shifts drastically once they leave the city. This is where I want to slow down.
Yes, the tone changes completely.
In the movies, the cave is this giant tiger head in the sand, very spectacular. But in the text, it's much more grounded, which to me makes it scarier.
It does. The sorcerer leads Aladdin out of the city, past the beautiful gardens, into the barren wilderness. The text specifically mentions they walk until Aladdin is exhausted. He wants to turn back. But the uncle cajoles him, pushes him forward.
They arrive at this desolate valley between two mountains. And this is where those campfire legend vibes really kick in for me.
Yeah.
The sorcerer builds a fire, he throws incense on it, he starts chanting words that Aladdin doesn't understand.
Imagine standing there as this kid.
Right. And the earth literally tears open.
It's not a magical door appearing. The ground rumbles, it splits apart, and it reveals a stone slab with a brass ring. The sorcerer looks at him and says, "Under the stone is a treasure that makes kings look like beggars, and only you can enter."
And he sends the boy down. Now, in the movie, the cave is scary, but it's full of gold and personality. It even talks. In the text, it feels more sterile and dangerous. What are the rules?
It is a test of discipline, which is ironic given who Aladdin is. The sorcerer gives him very specific instructions. Pass through the chambers, do not touch the walls, do not touch the gold. If you touch anything, you will die instantly.
So he has to walk through these halls of gold and silver without letting his robes even brush against them. The tension must have been immense.
Unbearable. He has to go to the very end, to a garden, to find a lamp hanging in a niche. He grabs it, he dumps the oil out, and then on the way back, he stops in the garden.
The garden of jeweled trees.
Yes, and this is a detail I love. Aladdin is so uneducated, so worldly ignorant, that he sees these trees laden with emeralds, rubies, and diamonds. And he thinks they are just pretty glass.
He doesn't recognize their value at all.
Not in the slightest. He thinks they're colored glass. He picks them because they look like toys.
So he stuffs his pockets, his shirt, everything with priceless gems, thinking they're marbles. And he climbs back up to the entrance. He's weighed down. The uncle is waiting at the top. And here it is, The betrayal. This is the moment the mask slips.
Aladdin is struggling, the steps are steep. He looks up and says, "Uncle, give me a hand." The sorcerer reaches down and says, "Give me the lamp first."
And Aladdin hesitates. Why? Is he suspicious at this point, or is it something else?
I think it's a mix of stubbornness and just physical limitation. His hands are full of the heavy fruit. The lamp is buried in his sash. He literally can't get to it easily. He says, "Pull me up first, then I'll give you the lamp."
He's just being a difficult teenager.
Exactly. And that hesitation, that 1 second of defiance, it breaks the sorcerer.
The mask just melts away.
Instantly. You see the narcissism just explode. He doesn't have the patience to argue or negotiate.
Yeah.
In a fit of rage, fearing that the boy might keep the lamp or that the magic window of opportunity is closing, he decides to scorch the earth.
What does he do?
He throws more incense on the fire, speaks a curse, and the stone slams shut,
Leaving Aladdin inside.
buried alive.
This is where the horror element really kicks in for me. We aren't talking about being locked in a room. We're talking about being entombed in the earth. Total darkness.
Think about that isolation. The text says he is there for 2, maybe 3 agonizing days.
3 days.
3 days. No light, no food, no water, just the silence of the earth and the knowledge that his uncle just murdered him.
That is a survival nightmare. It's claustrophobic just thinking about it.
It's psychological torture. And if we analyze this through the LexiWibe vision, the cave isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a living entity. It represents the greed that buries you alive. It's the belly of the beast.
Wow.
The sorcerer was willing to kill his own brother's son for an object. So Aladdin is sitting in the dark, realizing that human connection was a complete lie.
And for Aladdin, this is the breaking point. The transition from, poverty to potential infinite power begins with trauma. It begins with absolute hopelessness.
Exactly. He is sitting in the dark, waiting to die. And that trauma, it shapes everything that comes after.
So he's sitting there, and this is the part that always surprises people who only know the movie. He's wringing his hands in despair. He's praying to God, accepting his fate. And in that moment, he rubs a ring.
The ring. The forgotten artifact.
So wait, let's clarify. Where did this ring come from?
The sorcerer gave it to him right before he went down into the cave. He said, "Here, this will protect you from harm."
The irony.
It's incredible, isn't it? The sorcerer gave him the tool of his own destruction. It's a minor magical item compared to the lamp, but it is crucial. When Aladdin wrings his hands in prayer, he accidentally rubs the ring against his palm.
And poof, we have a genie.
But not the genie. This is the genie of the ring, and this distinction is absolutely vital. In the original text, there are 2 genies.
Okay, so what is the difference? Why 2? Is it just like a magical backup drive?
Think of it in terms of hierarchy or voltage.
Mm-hmm.
The ring genie is powerful, yes, but he is limited. He addresses Aladdin as master, but his capabilities seem tied to transportation and maybe some minor manipulation.
So he's not a reality bender.
Exactly. He is a personal protector or a rescuer. He can transport Aladdin from place to place. He can get him out of a jam, but he cannot conjure a palace from thin air. He cannot alter the fabric of reality on a global scale.
So the ring genie is like a really high-end concierge or a magically powered Uber.
A very capable bodyguard, and that is what Aladdin needs in that moment. He doesn't ask for $1 million bucks. He's terrified. He just asks to be out of the earth.
And the ring genie delivers. Aladdin is back on the surface. He goes home. He still has the lamp, which he just thinks is a piece of junk.
Correct. He doesn't know what he has. He goes home, traumatized, hungry, practically fainting on his mother's doorstep. He tells her the whole story. And eventually, days later, they need money for food. So the mother, the poor, grieving mother, takes this dirty old oil lamp and starts to scrub it with some sand and water so she can sell it at the market for a few copper coins.
And here we go. Here comes the big one. The second encounter.
She rubs the grime away and the air shifts. The genie of the lamp appears, and this is described very differently than the ring genie. It is a monstrous.
Now, I want to talk about the vibe here, because we all have this image of a blues singing funny friend. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Forget that. Erase it completely from your mind. If we look at this through the lens of the dark origins, the appearance of the lamp genie is an eldritch horror event.
You use that term eldritch horror in the intro. Let's unpack that. What do you mean in this context?
I mean it in the Lovecraftian sense, something so vast and incomprehensible that it threatens your sanity just by existing. We are talking about a cosmic prisoner.
A cosmic prisoner.
Imagine a being of smokeless fire, because that's what Jinn are described as, being made of limitless power, capable of bending space and time, trapped inside a tiny, cramped, cold brass vessel for thousands of years.
Millennia of silence, millennia of confinement, that would drive anything mad.
Exactly. When he comes out, he isn't grateful, he isn't happy to see you, he is a chaotic force that barely tolerates its master, he appears as a hideous giant. In the text, Aladdin's mother is so terrified by the sight of him that she faints.
She just collapses.
She collapses in sheer terror.
That is terrifying. It's like holding a nuclear detonator that hates you.
Precisely. Wielding the lamp is cosmic Russian roulette. It is the power to destroy reality. And suddenly, this reckless, lazy boy who couldn't even hold down a job is holding the leash of a god.
So we have two entities. One is a rescuer, the ring. The other is a world changer, the lamp.
And that kind of power corrupts.
Yeah.
Which leads us directly to the corruption of ambition.
Right. Because initially, Aladdin just uses it for food, right? He asks for a meal, he sells the silver plates, the food comes on. He and his mother live a quiet, sort of middle-class life for a few years.
He actually matures a bit. He starts acting like a responsible merchant.
But then, he sees her.
Princess Bedrodor.
The Sultan's daughter. Now, in this story, seeing her is actually forbidden, right? People aren't allowed to look at her.
Strictly forbidden. The crier goes through the city and announces that everyone must close their shops and hide their faces while the princess goes to the bathhouse. But Aladdin, his old reckless curiosity, comes back.
He can't help himself.
He hides behind a door to peep at her.
It's voyeurism.
It is. He catches a glimpse of her face when she unveils, and the obsession begins. He decides, instantly, that he must marry her.
It doesn't feel like a romance in the text, does it? They don't meet in the market and share an apple. It feels like acquisition.
It is acquisition. He sees her as the ultimate prize, the final step in his transformation from street rat to royalty, and to get her, he has to play the game of power.
He sends his mom to the Sultan. Can you even imagine that? Hey, Your Majesty, my layabout son wants to marry your daughter.
The mother is terrified. She thinks her son has lost his mind. But Aladdin gives her a bowl of those glass fruits, the jewels from the cave, to take as a gift.
And the Sultan, surprisingly, doesn't just execute her on the spot. He sees the jewels, and his eyes pop out of his head.
But the Grand Vizier whispers in his ear, wait, ask for a higher price, make it impossible.
So the Sultan sets the price so high he thinks no one could ever pay it.
And let's talk about the specifics of this price, because it just blows my mind. This isn't just bring me a lot of gold. It is specific, and it is grotesque.
Lay it out for us.
The Sultan asks for 40 massive solid gold basins.
40.
Each basin must be overflowing with priceless jewels gems that make the Sultan's own treasury look like glass. And to top it all off, these 40 basins must be carried by 40 magnificently dressed white slaves and 40 black slaves.
So 80 human beings and 40 basins of gold and diamonds. That is an absurd display of wealth.
It is a display of dominance. The Sultan is effectively selling his daughter to the highest bidder. He doesn't ask about Aladdin's character. He doesn't ask about his lineage. He just sees the price tag.
And Aladdin doesn't even blink. He goes home, summons the lamp genie, and the genie produces this caravan of wealth instantly.
Imagine the scene. A parade of 80 slaves dressed like kings marching through the city carrying basins of solid gold. The Sultan is dumbfounded. He is literally bought.
He sees the gold, sees the jewels, and just agrees to the marriage immediately.
No more questions asked.
So Aladdin gets the girl. He wishes up a palace right across from the Sultan's window. He is living the dream. He has effectively rewritten his reality.
But this is where the dark mirror comes in. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look back at the sorcerer.
Right, the guy who tried to bury him alive. He's not dead. He's just back in Africa.
And he is a master of the mystic arts. He uses geomancy.
Can you explain that? You mentioned it earlier. What exactly is geomancy?
It's an ancient form of divination. The sorcerer literally strikes the sand. He hits the earth to read the vibrations and patterns. It's like tuning a radio to a specific magical frequency.
Okay.
He decides to check up on the boy he left to die, probably expecting to see a rotting corpse in a sealed cave.
And instead?
Instead, the sand tells him that Aladdin is alive, that he is not in the cave, that he is living in a palace in China and married to the princess.
He knows?
He knows immediately. Aladdin escaped and has the lamp, and this reignites his hunger. You see, the sorcerer represents what happens when the hunger for the lamp hollows a person out.
He doesn't want revenge exactly?
He doesn't care about the princess. He doesn't care about the palace. He only cares about the artifact. Power doesn't just corrupt, it leaves nothing but hunger.
That's a great line.
And he comes back. But not with an army. He knows he can't fight the genie with force. So he uses cunning.
This is the part of the story that drives me crazy. The new lamps for old trick.
It is brilliant psychological warfare.
Is it brilliant? Or is the princess just really naive? I mean, come on, who falls for that?
You have to look at it from the perspective of value. Aladdin knows the lamp is magic. The sorcerer knows it is magic, but to everyone else,
It's a piece of junk.
exactly. It's a rusty, dented, old oil lamp sitting in a palace made of gold and marble. It's an eyesore.
So the sorcerer waits for Aladdin to go hunting. He dresses up as a peddler, and he wanders the streets shouting, "New lamps for old! Who will exchange old lamps for new?"
And the people think he is crazy. They represent common logic. Who would give away a new asset for an old liability? The crowds are mocking him. But the princess.
Poor Princess Bedordo. She's in the palace, she hears the commotion, she sees this crazy guy, and she remembers that weird, rusty old lamp her husband keeps around.
She has no idea it's magic, and this is key. Aladdin never told her.
Wow.
That's a massive failure of trust on his part. He kept the source of his power a secret from his wife. So she thinks, oh, I'll do a nice thing. I'll surprise my husband with a shiny new lamp to replace that piece of junk.
Oh, the tragic irony. She thinks she's upgrading the decor, but she's actually handing over the nuclear codes.
Exactly. She calls the peddler over, she makes the trade, and the moment the sorcerer touches that lamp, the catastrophe is instantaneous.
He doesn't hesitate.
Not for a second. He goes to a secluded spot, he rubs the lamp. The genie appears, and remember, the genie has no loyalty to Aladdin. The genie serves the holder of the lamp.
Right.
The sorcerer commands, move this palace and everyone in it to my home in Africa.
That's like that. Bam. Gone.
Imagine Aladdin returning from his hunt. He looks up to see his home, his wife, his entire life. And there's just an empty plot of land. Just dust.
And a very angry sultan looking out his window.
A furious sultan who is ready to execute Aladdin on the spot. He orders Aladdin's head to be cut off. But the people actually revolt. Aladdin had been generous with his new gold, so the people loved him. They save him from execution.
But he's on a clock.
The sultan gives him an ultimatum, 40 days to find her or he dies.
But he's lost the nuke. He's lost the lamp. How does he fight back?
This is magic versus magic. He is wandering by the river, ready to commit suicide, and he slips. He grabs a rock to steady himself, and he rubs the ring again.
The ring genie. The backup. I completely forgot about the ring.
Everyone does. The ring genie appears. Aladdin begs, bring my palace back. But the ring genie says, I cannot. The power that moved it is greater than mine. I cannot undo the work of the master of the lamp.
Right, the hierarchy we talked about. The ring genie is strong, but he's not a god.
Exactly. But the ring genie can transport Aladdin. So Aladdin says, take me to the palace. Take me to my wife.
And he is whisked away to Africa. He finds the princess. They reunite. And this is interesting. They don't just blast the sorcerer. They realize they can't beat him in a fair fight.
No, they have to plot a murder.
It becomes a noir thriller.
Yeah.
The princess has to play the part. She realizes she has been kidnapped, but she has to pretend she has accepted the sorcerer's advances.
She dresses up in her finest clothes. She invites the sorcerer to dinner.
She seduces him.
She does. She flutes with him. She gets him to drink wine. And then she suggests they swap cups, a lover's custom. But in her cup, or the one she hands him, she has slipped a powerful sleeping powder, or a poison, depending on the translation.
And when he drinks it, he drops.
He falls back, unconscious. Aladdin, who's been hiding behind the curtains this whole time, rushes in. He doesn't arrest him. He doesn't give a speech. He draws his scimitar and cuts off the sorcerer's head.
It is brutal. It is final. Aladdin reclaims the lamp. He orders the genie to move the palace back to China. And they live happily ever after.
Right. You would think so. If this were a movie, the credits would roll right now. But the original text has this whole other act that nobody ever talks about.
The final twist. This is the part that was totally new to me reading the source material. Just when you think it is over, the story continues. Because the sorcerer had a brother.
A brother who is even more powerful and even more vengeful.
Why does this exist in this story? It almost feels like a sequel tagged onto the end.
I think it reinforces the theme of consequences. You cannot kill a man, even an evil man, and expect the violence to end there. Violence begets violence. The brother uses his own geomancy, finds out his brother is dead, and travels to China to take revenge.
But his method is darker than anything the first sorcerer did. He doesn't try to buy Aladdin, he infiltrates.
He discovers there is a holy woman named Fatima. She is a pious healer and ascetic who lives in a hermitage outside the city. The princess loves her and treats her like a saint.
So what does the brother do?
He finds Fatima in her cell. He murders her. He strangles this holy woman. And then, and this is Silence of the Lambs level creepy, he dyes his skin, puts on her clothes, and veils his face. He literally wears her identity.
He infiltrates the palace in drag, pretending to be this holy woman.
And he is good at it. He plays the part perfectly. He gets access to the princess. He blesses her. And then he plants a seed of doubt. He looks up at the dome of the palace and says, "Oh, this palace is beautiful, but it is missing one thing to be perfect."
What is it missing?
A roc's egg hanging from the dome.
A roc's egg, like the giant mythical bird from the Sinbad stories.
The very same. The princess becomes obsessed with this idea. She nags Aladdin about it. We need a roc's egg. Aladdin, wanting to please his wife, summons the lamp genie.
And this is the moment where everything almost falls apart. Aladdin asks, "Bring me a roc's egg to hang in the dome."
Yeah.
And the genie just flips out.
This is the only time in the entire story the genie gets angry. He screams so loud the palace shakes. He says, "You ungrateful wretch! You ask me to bring you my master so you can hang him as a decoration."
Wait, the rock is the genie's master.
In this specific mythology, yes. The rock is a supreme being, perhaps the creator or ruler of the Jinn. Asking for a roc's egg is blasphemy. It's like asking an angel to kill God.
So Genie almost destroys the palace in rage.
But he stops, and this is fascinating. He stops because he realizes Aladdin is ignorant. He tells Aladdin, "This is not your wish. This is the wish of the one disguised as Fatima. He is the sorcerer's brother, and he intends to kill you."
So the genie actually snitches on the villain.
He does. It's a rare moment of cooperation or perhaps just self-preservation for the genie. Aladdin realizes the trick. He pretends to have a headache and calls for Fatima to come heal him.
The brother comes in, hand under his robe, clutching a dagger, ready to finish the job.
And Aladdin is watching. He sees the reflection, or perhaps just the tension in the holy woman's body. As the brother moves to strike, Aladdin is faster. He drives his dagger right through the brother's heart.
Stabbed right through the heart. The disguise falls away. The threat is finally gone.
And that is the end.
Wow. That is a journey. So let's look at the evolution here. We started with a lazy, reckless boy who killed his dad with grief. We end with a man who has traveled the world, wielded cosmic power, lost it all, fought a noir-style assassination plot, and defeated a shape-shifting Avenger.
He was forged in the fires of betrayal and battle. He didn't just wish for his throne. In the end, he had to fight for it. He had to use his wits, not just the magic.
So what does this all mean? If we step back and look at the LexiWibe vision of this story, what is the ultimate takeaway?
I think the forbidden secret isn't what is inside the cave. It is what is inside the person.
Elaborate on that.
The story is about a flawed person handed immense power. The lamp is an amplifier. If you are weak, it destroys you. If you are greedy like the sorcerer, it hollows you out, it turns you into nothing but hunger. Aladdin had to learn to control himself, to mature in order to survive the magic.
That is a powerful thought. The true magic wasn't the genie, it was Aladdin's growth.
Precisely. And it leaves us with the provocative question. Is the power in the lamp? Or is it in the character of the one who wields it? Every wish has a shadow.
Every wish has a shadow. That is going to stick with me.
It should.
So I have to ask you, the listener, if you found a lamp in a dark cave, knowing what you know now, knowing the isolation, the horror, the cosmic prisoner inside, would you rub it? Or would you walk away?
A dangerous question.
It is. Thanks for listening, LexiWibers. Please let us know your thoughts. See you soon.
Stay greedy for the truth, but stay safe.